Woo players, when I tell you this right here was the biggest story to hit Annalise Keaton's internet since Ray Shonda left LaShonda. Baby, when I tell you the tickety talk streets was hot and in a chokehold, waiting and anticipating for Reesa Teesa to upload another video. Baby, there was a total of 52 parts, and when I tell you there was some twists and turns, there was some twists and turns. Y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat, honey, because I have your cliff notes on the Who the Bleep Did I Marry, Reesa Teesa and Legion tickety talk version. So for some reason, Reesa Teesa decided it was time to tell her story on being married to what she called a pathological liar. Now, if you listen to the story, honey, you will be able to confirm that she was indeed married to a pathological liar, and most would call him a narcissist. Now, baby, when I tell you the streets was in a chokehold waiting for these parts, and she posted them in 52 parts, 10 minutes each. So, baby, it's a lot. So Teesa begins her story saying, look, I was married to somebody from January of 2021 until January of 2022, and it was the worst decision that I ever made, and there were a bunch of red flags that I want you guys to be aware of. She said that she met this guy who she dubbed Legion. She did not identify him by name. Now, we know that he has been identified. However, she stated that she didn't want to identify him by name, and she would be using pseudonyms throughout this story so that nobody would be identified. So she said she met this guy on Annalise Keaton's internet. She stated that they initially matched on some dating website. However, it was under a different name, and then she met him again on Facebook. She said they talked on the phone, everything was good, and on their first date, they were supposed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory, but her tire blew. So she called him on that first date. He scurried on over there, honey, and got her tire changed, and then they went on to the date. Now, on that first date, they talked about what they wanted, and he was very clear that he wanted to be married. He was divorced, he said, and she stated that she wanted to be married too. So she said shortly after they went on their first date, the world got locked down, honey, because COVID was on a frenzy. This was in 2020. So they had to decide whether they were going to quarantine together. He had just moved into town and stated that his job was paying for him to relocate. So he was actually looking into buying a house. Now, she was already established in her townhome, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and he was just living in a studio. So they decided to quarantine at her place. So she said at first everything was all good in the neighborhood, honey. He was paying for all of the household bills. She was able to keep her money, and they were also sharing the household responsibilities. Like he would cook, she would cook, baby. Everything was a go. In the midst of all this, Legion is still saying that he's going to buy a house. So they got to decide whether they're going to buy the house for both of them, or is he just going to buy a house for himself. They eventually decide that they want to be together, honey. So look, we're going to go ahead and look for this house. So he shows her these pre-approval letters where he's supposedly approved, and he also stated that he had played arena football, so he has a large amount of money that he has for the down payment or whatnot, and that it was in some type of offshore bank account because he had made some really good investments. So they eventually find a house that they both agree upon. They were working with the realtor, and he was supposed to be making an offer on this house and putting down earnest money. Now, he told her that he did that, but the real estate agent contacted her and said that it never happened. Now, he stated that he went and worked with an outside realtor to get this done. However, come to find out, honey, that was all a lie. In the midst of this, honey, she ends up getting pregnant. She has a miscarriage of the baby. Legion was supposed to take her to the hospital to have the D&C because she took a pill and the full fetus did not pass. He did not do it because he claims that he had gotten promoted on his job from a regional manager to the VP. So after the miscarriage and everything falls through, she decides that she wants to be heavily involved in picking the house because she feels like Legion lied to her about what exactly happened with that house falling through. So they ended up touring about 20 houses, in which Legion is now saying that he's going to pay cash for a $699,000 house. They get to the point to where it's time to make the offer, and Legion signs the paperwork saying that he has $699,000 to pay on the house. However, when it's time to show proof of funds, he all of a sudden don't want to show it until they accept the offer. So that falls through. In the midst of all this, honey, Legion has her out test driving vehicles or whatnot. I'm talking about BMWs, Jaguars, all kind of stuff. She's looking, he wants her to get a new vehicle. He eventually says that he's going to buy her a BMW SUV sort of thing. But when it's time to come up with the money, he doesn't come up with the money. So with the houses falling through and the cars falling through and all this stuff, she still decides to marry the guy. She said that she believed, well, she didn't believe that he would sit up here and lie about having this money and put his name on the paper guaranteeing that he had over $700,000 to pay for a house when he doesn't have it. So they decided to get married. So they got married at the courthouse. Remember, this is during COVID. So a lot of things are different the way they go down. So she said shortly after they get married, I'm talking about weeks, things start to change between the two. They're not really doing the Humpty Dump like they normally do. And she is getting suspicious of this entire situation. So she decides to check his cellular device, where she finds out that he has been flirting with people on Facebook, sexting with people on Facebook, honey. She confronts him about this, and he says that it wasn't no big deal. He never met with nobody, all this stuff. And they decide to go to marriage counseling. They go to marriage counseling, honey, and they find a pastor and his wife to counsel them. And basically, they talk about the money portion of this. And the wife looks at her and was like, hey, I don't think this situation is going to work. We don't understand why he doesn't want to show you his accounts. So he eventually shows her his checking account where he has like $9,000 in one and a $15,000 in another, but he does not show her this offshore account that he says he has. So there's a whole host of things that happen in the midst of this. I encourage you to look at her story, but she stated that one of the bigger things was that Legion would get up in the morning and he would be talking to someone that he's calling his brother. He also told her that his grandmother passed away during the pandemic as well. Now, he would be on the phone with his brother talking for at least 30 minutes every day, and also talking to other family members on the phone. But again, this is during the pandemic, so she wasn't able to see any of them. So I told you, Legion told her that he was married before. He ends up coming to her and saying that his stepdaughter passed away and wanted to know if it was okay if they could send $2,000 to help with the funeral expenses. Now, this right here is, in my opinion, the straw that broke the camel's back, because this is when she starts really investigating Legion. She eventually talks to the ex-wife. The ex-wife says that Legion is a liar. She finds out that her daughter did not pass away. She also got another job in the midst of this, and they had to do a background check on him. She stated that using that information, she was able to find out that a lot of things that Legion had told her was a lie. Also, Legion was saying that he was sick and losing a bunch of weight. She ended up checking his phone, honey, and saw where he was messing around with an actual worker or whatnot. So she ended up putting his ass out and filing for divorce. After she put him out, she talked to the brother and found out that even though Legion told her that he had 4 brothers, there were really only 2, one of which was his twin. They don't really mess with him at all. They don't talk to Legion or anything. So either he was talking to somebody else every day for 30 minutes in the morning, or he was just talking to air. He was just talking to air. She eventually finds out that he was not a regional manager, nor was he a VP at the condiment company. He actually was a forklift operator. He also finds out that he never played football at San Diego State, and he never played arena football. There is no offshore account. When she met with him to sign the divorce papers, honey, he was stinking and looking like he was living in his car. Now, Reesa Teesa stated that she didn't want to reveal his identity, but of course, you know how the internet works. I don't think it's okay, but they did reveal his identity. This is him. He has come out and said that Reesa Teesa is lying, that she was cheating on him with some dude named Bradley. As far as we know, he is living with family, even though all of his family told Reesa Teesa that he's a liar and the truth ain't never been in him, literally. All right, players, I gave you everything I got for a pork chop. Y'all go and watch this if you want to know the full story, but this is your Cliff Notes. Put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mobile reporting for the Black Accurate News.